Our first speaker tonight is somebody that we've all been fasting and vigiling with, but many of us probably haven't had much opportunity to share or to hear a little bit about who he is and what he's all about and how he came to be here today. And that's Paul the Peace Walker. Paul Loveless, I think, is misnamed because we all love you, Paul. But that's Paul.
Just wanted to tell you the different things I've done over my time. You know, after growing up with a military family who did not approve of any of the peace issues at all, I saw how unhappy my father was, how unhappy my parents were. And I couldn't stand to live like that. I couldn't understand the necessity of war, necessity of picking up a weapon against another human being, someone else's loved one. And I couldn't understand why we had to build bigger and bigger weapons, such as nuclear weapons. And I joined the Peace March and walked from Maine to Washington by way of New York City. We walked from Maine to New York, and then later on from New York to Washington. I was carrying this big heavy peace sign all the way down on one of those marches. And I've carried it from New York to Washington several times against any forms of violence and against the wars in Central America. And I've carried it through the length of Florida to protest the deployment of the Trident II D5 missiles. And I marched alone from Richmond to Washington, protesting the Euro missiles. And I carried against all the causes that us peace activists should be working against. Causes against the death penalty, causes against racism, causes against violence in all its forms. And I was marching through Forsyth, Georgia one time, and I got hit in the hand with a brick. And then right after that, spelt the end of my health as I knew it. They had to start taking fingers off for gangrene. They didn't get them all. They just kept coming back like a shark. It just kept coming back and savagely attacking again and again. And finally, due to complications, I went blind totally, developed several bone disorders and several other disorders. And I had to be on heavy medication on and off. But yet, they asked me why I continue to do this kind of work. Why am I fasting? Well, I said, I may be in bad shape, but but the people on the inmates in death row are far more shape than I'm in. And the people of Iraq are in far more shape than I am. It's my country that's doing this. As an American, I have to stand up against it no matter what it takes. You know, I don't know how much longer I'm going to have left. I don't know how many years, days, months, weeks I got left. And they don't know either, and they really don't want to tell me. But I want to tell you that what time I got left, I want to make this world a better place for other people. I do not want to have the killing going on in my name. I can't stand it whenever they have this dog and pony show they call the death penalty. You know, this blow-by-blow description of how it is, almost like the gladiatorial fights of old Rome. You know, everybody's got to gather around for their bloodlust. They're bloodthirsty. I'm not. Why I grew up different than my family, I still do not know. But I'm telling you, we all have to work together for peace. And abolishing the death penalty is one huge step we can all take to abolish the act of violence in itself. If we can all get together and do this, and bring our friends into it. There's no reason why they should sit home and say, I'm too tired to do it, or I'm not good, I don't feel good enough to do it. Well, if I can do it, they can do it. I can hardly even walk right anymore. And I still come out to fast and vigil and do demonstrations against violence and demonstrations for world peace. Because I'm not letting I do not want my tax dollars or anyone else's go into this kind of hatred. My state, Maryland, has a death penalty. We're doing everything we can to overthrow it. We have to be careful who we vote for. We have to register to vote for one thing. We have to be conscientious and learn who we're voting for. You know, the reason we got these people in the White House now is because people just don't care what they're doing. We have to educate those people and get them concerned and get them interested in saving their own skins as well as others. So with that, I'd like to thank everybody for coming out tonight. And thank you, Jack, for letting me speak up. And let's everybody Get our friends out here. Get everybody out here next year. Let's see what we can do. Hopefully there won't be a next year. We won't need it to oppose the death penalty. When it comes to opposing death in all its forms, whether we call it warfare, whether we call it violence in our schools, whether we call it the death penalty, what we call it prison riots. Death is death. No matter how you look at it, the war has come home to the hood. We are yelling about the war in Iraq, but look at our city streets. There's more guns on our streets than there is in the whole country of Iraq, probably. You're looking at the weapons of mass destruction. Look at the drugs that are being dealt on our city streets. Look at the kids who are dying from them. Look at the kids who are dying because of gun battles on our streets. Kids who are being molested and taken away from their families, raped, and then dumped in the woods. And then they have to go out there and dig them up. Look at that. That is violence. We all have to oppose of all kinds of violence. The death penalty is only promoting that kind of violence. We got to do something to oppose it. Thank you.
Thank you, Paul, very much. Thank you for being here.
Yep, I'll be here again.
Every time I think I'm having such a trouble fasting, you put me to shame.
Oh, come on. We're all equal.
Amen.